Have you ever felt this way? You want a better life? You plan for it. You imagine everything. But when it's time to take action, something inside whispers, I'll do it later, maybe tomorrow. If you have ever struggled between dreaming big and acting small, then this story might hit you deeply. In a peaceful village surrounded by wide fields and quiet mornings, lived a young man named Ethan. Ethan was 26. Smart, healthy, full of ambition. He often told people around him, one day I'll have the most successful farm in this whole area. I'll grow more crops than anyone. People will look up to me. Everyone liked Ethan. Everyone believed he could achieve greatness. But Ethan had one hidden enemy: laziness. While other farmers woke up before sunrise, Ethan kept sleeping. While others worked hard under the burning sun, Ethan sat under a shady tree talking about his future success. While people carried water from the well, Ethan said, I'll do it later. No rush. He loved the idea of success, but he hated the work behind it. One evening, Ethan's uncle, an old wise farmer, came to visit. He looked at Ethan's land. The soil was rich, perfect for crops, but not a single plant was growing. The uncle asked calmly, Ethan, you speak of success every day, but your field is empty. Why? Ethan laughed confidently. Uncle, relax. I'll start tomorrow. You'll see how amazing it will look. The old man sighed. He had heard tomorrow too many times. So he decided to teach Ethan a lesson he would never forget. He took out 2 small pouches from his pocket. Inside each pouch was a single seed. He said, these are not ordinary seeds. They represent life. Seed 1, the seed of ambition. If you plant it and care for it daily, it will grow into a strong tree full of fruit, success, and stability. Seed 2, the seed of laziness. If you plant it, it will grow fast, too fast. It will spread weeds across your whole field and destroy everything. He placed both seeds in Ethan's hands and said, your future depends on the seed you decide to feed. Ethan stared at the seeds, thinking about the life he wanted. He said confidently, of course I'll plant the ambition seed. That's easy. But the next morning, he felt tired, a little lazy, I'll start tomorrow, and nothing was planted. Days passed. Out of boredom, Ethan finally planted both seeds. He told himself, I can take care of them later. Nothing urgent, but he didn't. He spent his days resting, talking, dreaming, everything except working. Weeks later, Ethan visited the field, and his eyes widened. The laziness seed had taken over the entire field. Huge weeds covered the soil, thick and wild. They spread everywhere, choking the land. The ambition seed, a tiny, fragile sprout, barely alive, thirsty, weak, almost dying. Ethan felt a sudden shock in his heart. Was this what his life looked like? At that moment, his uncle returned and saw the disaster. He said gently but firmly, Ethan, this is your truth. Ambition needs care. It needs effort every day. Without action, it fades. But laziness grows by itself and destroys your dreams. He added, you didn't lose your dream, Ethan. You abandoned it. Ethan fell to his knees. He touched the weak little sprout, his ambition, and felt tears in his eyes. For the first time, he understood the price of waiting. That night, Ethan couldn't sleep. His excuses replayed in his mind. His wasted time, his empty promises. He whispered, if I don't change now, laziness will take my whole life. The next morning, Ethan makes a decision that will either rebuild his life or destroy it completely. His choice will decide which seed wins. Have you ever woken up one day and felt something inside you shift, like a small voice whispering, enough, no more excuses? That's exactly what happened to Ethan the very next morning. Before the sun rose, before the birds sang, Ethan opened his eyes. Not because he wasn't tired, not because it was easy, but because he finally understood something. If he didn't fight his laziness now, he would lose everything he dreamed of. He stepped into the cold morning air and walked toward his field. For the first time in his life, he didn't look away from the weeds. He faced them. The field looked like chaos. Thick weeds, tangled roots, wild growth everywhere. It almost felt hopeless. But Ethan made a promise to himself. I won't run from this. Not anymore. And he began pulling out the weeds with his bare hands. His fingers hurt. His back ached. Sweat rolled down his face, even in the early morning cold. Every weed he removed felt like pulling out a bad habit. Every handful of dirt felt like removing one old excuse. Hours passed. He didn't stop. And then something incredible happened. He uncovered the tiny sprout of the ambition seed. Weak, but still fighting. Still alive. Ethan felt a spark inside him. If this small plant refused to give up, how could he? He gently watered it, cleared the soil around it, protected it from the sun, and for the first time in his life, he felt proud of himself, not for dreaming, but for acting. Days turned into weeks. Every morning, Ethan woke up early. He worked harder than he ever had before. He didn't wait for motivation. He created it by showing up. Slowly, and the field changed. The weeds stopped growing. The soil softened. The sprout grew taller. The plant became stronger. And finally, and after months of discipline, that once fragile little sprout became a large, powerful tree. A tree full of shade, full of fruit, full of life. The whole village noticed the change. They didn't admire Ethan because he became successful. They admired him because he fought the one enemy most people never defeat, their own laziness. People came to him for advice. They asked, how did you turn your life around? Ethan would smile and say, I stopped feeding the wrong seed. But here's the real heart of the story. Each one of us carries these 2 seeds inside. side. One seed is ambition, your dreams, your goals, the life you want. The other seed is laziness, the excuses, the delays, the later, tomorrow, not today. The seed you feed is the seed that wins. You don't need a perfect plan. You don't need a perfect moment. You don't need to wait for motivation to magically appear. You just need to start, even if it's small, even if it's uncomfortable, even if it scares you, because one small action today can save your entire future. If you truly want your life to change, don't wait for tomorrow. Tomorrow never comes for those who wait, but today belongs to those who choose to act. Feed your ambition, starve your excuses, and one day people will look at your life the same way they looked at Ethan's, with respect, inspiration, and admiration. Your dream is still alive. Just don't let the wrong seed kill it.